Right all around. Rolling.
Here we are on the set of Lightkeepers, a film shot on Cape Cod, set in 1912. It's about a lighthouse keeper who lives at Race Point Lighthouse off of Provincetown. And he lives all by himself out there until one day a gentleman washes up on the shore and becomes the assistant lightkeeper. Now, the two of them have sworn off women and decided they won't be talking to women anymore until two beautiful women come to Cape Cod to visit for the summer. So this is a romantic comedy. It's beautifully shot, lighthearted and fun. It's about the relationship with these two couples as the relationships unfold. We've talked to all kinds of people today, so we're going to find out exactly what their jobs were, and we're going to find out what kind of training they had to get these jobs. And best of all is they're all in their 20s. So this is among their first jobs in their careers. So we're going to talk to them and find out what their jobs actually were. So here we are on the set, continuing to discover what everyone's doing on the crew today. And I have a very special guest, a really very talented person that works in the wardrobe department, Felipe Salcedo. Is that right?
That's right.
I said it right. Oh, good. So welcome, Felipe.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really, we're so interested to find out what it is you do in the wardrobe department. How does that work, and what's a typical day like for you, and want to find out all about what you do here.
Sure. Well, a typical day for us, basically, we walk into the wardrobe trailer.
Yeah.
We pull all the costumes that are going to be seen today.
Uh-huh.
And for all the upcoming scenes as well. So we have everything prepped and ready to go.
Yeah.
Then we will take those costumes and we set them in the trailers, each actor's trailers.
Okay.
And we pull everything out of the bags. We lay them out nice and neatly in the order that you would put on your clothing.
Oh, okay.
And
now, do you have to iron things? Do you have to make sure things are dressed?
we do that the day before.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So before you leave the previous night, everything's set for the next day?
The next day, right.
Oh, okay.
Lots of prepping.
Oh, I'm sure. And now,
Yes.
how many particular wardrobe changes does someone have in a day?
It depends what scenes we're shooting. I mean, if we're lucky, one day we could be shooting a bunch of scenes where everyone's in the same costumes.
Right.
And
Well, that would make it a quiet day for you.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be an easy day.
Okay, and what's a busy day?
And a busy day is like when you have basically all different changes. You have things getting wet that you have to dry really quickly.
Oh, how do
and
you do that?
Stuff like that. Well, basically, we have a few methods. You know, we have the old school ring. You know.
Oh, so that's if they had a scene that was in the water or something like that?
Right, and we'll try to wring things out, and then
give it back to them wet?
No, and then sometimes you'll take a dry iron.
Oh,
and
okay.
dry it out like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're lucky and there's a dryer available,
Yeah.
you could stick things in the dryer. And
On one of these sets, you have dryers on occasion?
yeah, we have a dryer in the trailer.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is in the wardrobe trailer.
Yeah.
So is that particular trailer, is it rented for each film that's being shot, and it's always prepared and set with certain things in a wardrobe trailer?
Right. Yeah.
So they have their own electricity, obviously. Do you have a washer and dryer too?
We have a washer and a dryer.
And do you have to do laundry every night?
Every night. There's a law that you have to launder the costumes every single night.
Really?
Yeah, launder, dry clean the costumes every night.
And you have a dry cleaner on board too?
No.
Oh.
Those we'll send out.
You send it out locally?
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll
Right.
find something that's very local that you
Right.
can rely on.
Overnight,
Yeah.
right.
Overnight too, that's hard.
Mhm.
But you must let them know before you show up that you're coming
Yeah,
and see who would
most
accommodate.
most of the stuff though we take care of.
Oh, yeah.
If it's like something very big and delicate, then we'll do that. We'll dry
Really?
clean.
So even
Yeah.
some of these very delicate dresses, I saw one of the characters' dresses was flowing, and it had it looked like embroidery, and it had some tulle. So all of that gets washed every night?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a very complicated type of procedure.
it is. It's very complicated. I mean, being part of wardrobe, we're the first people here and the last people out.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
do you have a typical 12-hour day?
Yes.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Oh, but so your call time is just earlier than others? Is that how it
Yeah.
works?
Yeah. Usually we'll come in like half an hour early.
Yeah.
Just to like prep, like I said, and
Yeah.
have everything in the trailers before the actors get here.
Yeah.
And then after everyone's wrapped,
Yeah.
then we will, wrap up all the costumes out of the trailers
Yeah.
and bring them back to our trailer and set everything up and have everything prepped for the next day.
For the next day.
Yes.
Now, do you have what are some of the tools of the trade? Like, well, I see you wearing a lot of different things
Yeah.
here. What do you carry around with you?
All right, well, let's see. We have our basic sewing kit.
Okay, basic
So,
sewing kit.
yeah,
Wow,
it's
that's
a
cool.
Basic sewing kit.
Is that something you use on occasion?
Oh, we use this a lot.
Really?
This is always, this is great to have on set
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Because
What kinds of things happen? Button pop or something?
a button will pop, something will tear, all kinds of things.
So you have to immediately bring somebody back to the trailer, take off the pant,
Well,
fix the thing.
ideally, we like to take care of it right then and there.
Oh, really?
And sometimes there's been plenty of times where we actually will sew someone into their clothes. If a button.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, we had a situation where a few buttons popped,
Yes.
and there was no time to sew the buttons back on,
Okay.
or take the garment off to
Okay.
fix it. So what we basically did is we just got some thread and sewed her right into it.
Really?
Yep.
So what would happen at the end of that scene? You have to cut the whole thing
Cut it
apart?
out, yep.
Really?
Bring it back to the trailer and fix it.
And then repair.
Yeah, fix
so
it the
so
right
what
way.
kind of background did you have to have a job like this? Did you study fashion design or
Yeah, I studied fashion. I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New
Oh
York.
yeah, excellent school. I went there myself. Yes.
And after that, I started working. I worked for a few labels like Target and Kmart, doing stuff for them.
Oh, private label.
Yeah.
Is that in New
exactly.
York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7th Avenue.
Oh, excellent. So
Yeah.
what kind of jobs did you have there?
Well, it was basically what we would do is we would see what was trendy,
Mm-hmm.
and we would buy it.
Yes.
And then we would take it back to our workshop.
Oh,
And
this
we
is where
would-
the elves work.
Yeah, and we would secretly knock it off and make it into larger sizes for the mass consumer who shops at Kmart
Oh,
and
interesting.
stores like that
So was
and
most
Target.
of your shopping done in New York?
Yeah.
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 So now, when you went to college, did you think you'd be working in the film world, or did you have ambitions to
Not at
do
all.
this?
Not at all.
So how did this come about for you?
I was getting sick of knocking clothes off. That's
Yeah.
not
It's
why
not the most
I had
creative thing, right?
It's not
Yeah.
why I had gone into fashion.
Right.
So I said to myself, let me start my own label.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my own
Which is
label.
very challenging.
It was-
That's extremely
It was
difficult.
a huge challenge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work. I learned
And you have
a
to
lot.
find financing, and you have
Right.
to all the distribution.
I had some investors and
Yeah.
all that. But long story short, everyone kept telling me your clothes is too costumey.
Mm,
You have
interesting.
you have to do things that are more wearable.
Yes.
And that's not what kind of designer I am.
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to take this costume course at Parsons.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm going to see if, maybe costume and film is
Yeah.
where I need to be.
Oh, that's great.
So I signed up for this course,
Yeah.
costume design and history,
Mhm.
taught by Mimi Maxman.
Uh-huh.
She was a great teacher.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, she lands the Light Keepers.
Oh, so
Yes.
now the plot thickens. This is how it
Right.
all came together.
Right,
Oh, that's
right.
excellent.
So she knew I was talented. She knew I have experience in the fashion industry. So she said to me, would you like to help me out on this movie?
Oh, great.
And I said, absolutely,
So
and
that just kind of opened the door for you.
exactly.
So how do you like it? How do you like working on the set?
It's something totally different. It's
Yeah, I'm
totally
sure.
different than fashion.
Yeah,
It's like
very
a
much.
whole different world. I'm learning a lot. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you think you would do it again?
I'm definitely going to pursue this.
Oh, awesome.
Definitely.
Okay, so let me see what else you have there in your little special pockets there.
So, aside from sewing kit,
Sewing
we
kit,
have
yep.
what we call top stick.
Ooh,
Now
what is this?
This is your professional double stick tape.
Oh, very
Yes.
important thing to have. I
So-
just discovered some myself.
Right. So
It's
what
very good.
yeah. So what you do is you just peel this off,
Uh-huh.
and then you'll stick it onto here. See?
Yeah, it's a
And
lot stickier than anything like that.
There you
Oh, look at that. Then we have the casual look
then- Right.
for the little tassel.
Right.
Okay, that's
right.
cool. Okay, and you always have that with you?
Always have this
Yeah.
with me.
Mhm. What
Yes.
else?
Let's see what else we have here.
Oh, another sewing kit. Sewing must be
Oh,
a huge part of the
pre-threaded
job.
Needles. Very
Pre-threaded
important.
needles.
Yes, you want your needles with the thread ready to go.
Now, is that something you have to do like at the end of each day, make sure your needles are threaded?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so
or at the beginning of the day.
really?
Yeah.
So okay, this is very
'Cause
important.
you never know when you're going to have an emergency.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um,
So the
other
walkie,
things-
yeah, everyone seems to be carrying their walkies. Yeah, it's very important.
Communication is key.
Key, yeah.
So then we have
Oh,
wet
we have
ones.
some wipey dipes here.
Yeah. And
Okay.
this is just for this is really more not so much for the garments, but
Oh.
just so your hands are clean and stuff like that.
Oh, before you touch the white
Yeah,
shirts
so
and
you
the
can-
linen and stuff like
right,
that. Yep.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Shout wipes. Now these are for the garments. If you happen to
Do those really
a
work?
little stain, the shout wipes do work,
They
but I'm
do.
more about the Tide pen.
Oh,
Tide
do you
pen.
have that one there with
I
you?
actually do not.
Oh, but you
I
like the
do-
Tide pen.
Yeah, I do have one. and
That's good to know
that's
because
way
you never
better.
know which one's going to work, and so
Right.
that's good to know.
And then safety pins.
That's a mighty large safety pin there. So what do you do with such a large safety pin?
Well, with the safety pin, if a button comes off,
Uh-huh. But that's gonna
you'll
show
pin
up.
the safety pin. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll just put it there for a minute, and then
Oh.
we know where to replace the button.
Oh,
later.
I see. That's for after the evening
Right.
when you're wrapped. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And then what are these special bags? They're all labeled of certain things.
These are like jewelry bags and stuff like that.
Oh,
for
okay.
The costumes.
Yeah.
So what you do is like if you have earrings or something like
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
you'll put the earrings in the jewelry bag, pin it to the garment bag, and that's how they know that that specific jewelry goes with that specific costume.
Oh, so this is like wardrobe consulting, like to a whole new level.
Yeah.
So everything's like pinned together, so we know exactly what piece of jewelry goes exactly with the outfit
Right.
and the shoes and the nylons, the whole thing.
Right.
Wow, so that's like every girl's dream to
Yeah.
have it all planned out.
Right.
So what else that you learned at FIT has helped you in this job?
Well, a lot of what I learned at FIT was a lot of garment construction,
Oh yeah.
tailoring, stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is really important because we've had a few occurrences here.
Oh really?
Yeah, where we have
A
tried.
few too many ice cream sundaes.
Yeah. Where we try to distress something and
Oh.
put it in the wash and it shrinks and it's like,
Oh,
oh no, we
goodness.
have to make another one overnight.
So really, you can you can
I
construct a
have.
whole new piece of
I have
wardrobe.
here, yes.
Really? So you have a
Mhm.
sewing machine and everything you need.
Yeah, everything's in the trailer.
What's some of the, like something that happened that? Well, I know you really wouldn't want to tell anyone. We can leave it completely anonymous, of course. But what else could have happened that something you'd have to deal with on a moment's notice?
Let's see, on a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aside from that blouse situation where the buttons all popped and, I was just there with the thread, pre-threaded
then and there.
needle, and
And you were ready to
1,
go.
2, 3, and she was right back on set.
Oh,
And,
really? Oh,
yeah,
well, that's good. You
and the
saved the day.
quickness,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you have to be very fast at things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to. Would you say that's a job requirement? Is the pace of things? You have to be very
Yes,
fast.
Definitely, you have to be fast. You have to have initiative. You
Yeah.
have to know what to do, but without anyone telling you what to do.
How do you know?
have to.
How would you know?
Well, you just kind of eyeball things like
Mhm.
that button's coming loose.
Yeah.
It's gonna pop off soon and
so
stuff
you really
like
have
that.
to pay attention to details.
Right.
And be
right.
observant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you on the set when they're shooting on a regular basis, or do you mostly work in the trailer? Or
I'm back
where-
and forth.
You're back and
I'm
forth?
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at all times, is there someone from the wardrobe department kind of at the set, ready
Yes.
in case something happens?
Yes, your set costumer.
Oh, so that's a
Mhm.
different person than who's in
Yes.
the wardrobe trailer.
Yeah, but we all work together. We have a wardrobe supervisor,
Uh-huh.
and they're always in the trailer.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything is there and
Yeah.
costumes are being pulled for certain scenes, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then we have the set costumer who is
Mhm.
taking care of all the costumes while they're playing,
Oh, okay.
while they're filming. Yeah.
So, and then, so is your particular job to prep for the next day, or what specific
Well,
things are you
my
concerned
title
about?
here is PA,
Yeah.
so it's like a personal assistant.
Uh-huh.
So I basically, if the set costumer needs help, then
Yeah.
I'll go on set and I'll help her out.
Okay.
And then if we get a call over the walkie that we need help in the trailer,
Then you got to
I'll-
run back.
I'll run to the wardrobe supervisor
Yeah.
and I'll assist them.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what about where do you live? Do you live in New York, or
I
do
live
you?
in New York.
Oh, you do.
Yes.
So are you here just for the film?
Yeah.
On Cape Cod?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the first time actually.
Oh, how did you like it?
It's nice, it's gorgeous.
Isn't it
It's
beautiful?
actually a lot like Long Island.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, so familiar turf for you a
Yeah,
little
totally.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think you're going to pursue other types of films that'll take you far away from home, or what do you think you're going to look for?
I would definitely, if it was the right film, I would go anywhere.
Really?
I'll go into
You
outer
loved it.
space. Yeah.
So you really loved it. That's
Yeah,
awesome. You've had a
yeah.
great experience.
I have.
That's so cool. Now, you said this was the first film you ever worked on,
Mm-hmm.
but did you ever work on any other types of either fashion shoots or TV shows
Yeah.
or anything like that?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
worked at fashion shows,
Yeah.
fashion shoots.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that.
Now, what about the long hours? I understand these long hours, are pretty gruesome sometimes.
They
So,
are.
does it help to be like in your 20s? Have a lot of energy to keep going?
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if being in your 40s is a detriment, but you'd have to ask someone. But,
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure it helps. We have a lot of energy, even though we do party every night.
That's what I've heard. Great
Yeah.
parties. I've
Great
heard
parties.
it's really fun.
Well, you know what? You got to work hard and party hard.
Yes,
that's
true.
That's my
the thing.
mantra.
Right. So that's what I get is that everyone has to really pay attention. You have to focus when you're on the job, but then when you take a break, you take a break.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it's been?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So does this beat out working on 7th Avenue?
Yeah, totally
Really?
does.
You don't
yeah.
miss that?
No, not at the very least.
Pushing those racks across 7th
Mm-mm.
Avenue?
No,
No.
not at
Counting all the size 12s and 14s and
14s,
counting them out.
15s. So
No, you don't miss that?
no, not at all.
No.
No.
So, what would be some of the highlights of your job so far since you've been on this film?
The highlights of my job have been being on set.
Yeah.
I actually made one of the costumes from scratch.
You did?
I did.
Now, did they just give you a picture, a hand drawing or something?
They handed me a bathing suit. It was black and white.
Yeah.
And Mimi, the costume designer, basically said, I want this bathing suit
Yeah.
a few sizes smaller
Yeah.
out of these two fabrics.
Oh, wow.
Go for
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
you really, she knew that you had very good sewing skills.
right, right.
Because you have to deal with the stretchy fabrics and all these
Yeah,
type of things.
yeah. And so that was probably definitely my main highlight here is actually being on set watching them shoot my bathing suit.
Oh, that's cool.
very
That's
nice.
great. That's gratifying, I'm sure.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
Now, as far as the prep that you had to do, when did you start working on the film? Was it as soon as they started shooting, or were you here? weeks
No,
before?
we were in New York at the costume shops pulling costumes, doing fittings
Oh, really?
weeks before
Really?
we got here, yeah.
So when you said you were at the costume shops, are a lot of these pre-made outfits that were on this shoot, or did you guys have to really make everything?
No, that's the great thing about this movie is that everything, or almost everything, I would say 99% of all the costumes here are actual period clothes.
Really? Now, how did you
Yes.
find those? Well, those are hard to find. They're very special.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're very lucky that we went to Helen Uffner's, and she was happy to have us there. And
Who's Helen Uffner?
Helen Uffner has a costume shop. I
Mhm.
would say probably one of the best costume shops in New York.
Oh, really? For film specific?
For films
Yeah.
specifically. And definitely, it's not like a Halloween costume shop.
You don't go
She-
there for your favorite vampire
No,
costume?
no.
Okay.
She carries all period and vintage clothes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so she rents them, or how do you buy them, or how does that work?
She rents them out.
You rent. So what
Yeah.
happens if something, gets like terrible stain, or it gets like ripped or something? Well, ripped, you can
Well,
probably fix it, but.
Yeah, yeah.
but
Well, I mean, a lot of the costumes we have to alter anyway,
Yeah.
and stuff like that is okay as long as it can go back to its original state.
Really?
Yeah, but if something is mutilated and
Yeah.
destroyed, then
There's
basically
sometimes scenes that
you have to
require
pay
that.
for it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you
So
have
she
to pay
gives you
for
a
it.
cost up front?
Yeah, or if it's like small tears and stuff like that, then it's just a small fee. But
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have to insure these items when you rent them from her?
I'm sure you do. I'm
Oh,
sure you
okay.
do. I wouldn't know.
That's not a standard thing that you have to work on.
Well, Mimi would know.
Oh,
but
Mimi does
yeah,
that stuff, right?
yeah.
Okay. So, as far as your experience at Parsons, did that costume class really help you in what you're doing on this job?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Give it a historical perspective, or from the technical standpoint.
Well, see, that's a good thing about the class. It wasn't just costume design, but also costume history.
Oh, good.
So we
Yeah.
actually did cover this period,
Oh,
and
good.
and when you do that, you learn a lot about what lengths are the right skirt lengths,
Right.
and what kind of garments they wore as far as how many layers and
That's right. There's a lot of
and how they were
undergarments.
made too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these things aren't made the way we tailor clothes today.
I'm sure not. Yeah, things
So-
are hand sewn. They probably had hand sewn hems and
There was a
edges,
lot of hand sewn things.
Yeah.
A lot of
buttonholes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about shoes and things like that? Is that also things that you had to find?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
also
part of-
found these things at Helen's. She
Oh,
has
really?
a great selection.
So she has like a store, or is this only for the trade?
It's only for the trade.
Yeah.
It's appointment only.
Oh.
So it's big names. We were there, and she has like a lot of. She'll put pieces on mannequins, like
Oh.
standout pieces
Yeah.
from. I saw one was Angelina Jolie, an
Oh.
original Sin.
Oh, really? Did you
Yeah.
recognize the outfit?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So that's awesome.
So that's interesting. So that particular item can be worn in something else at another time. by
Yeah.
another
Oh, yeah. That
actress?
happens all the time.
Really?
Yeah. And if you pay attention to movies closely,
Yeah.
like because costume people do,
Of course.
we'll recognize
notice.
certain costumes and say, hey, that was in this other movie.
Yeah. So now that you've gotten this far involved in the wardrobe department, do you have some favorite production or costume designers, I should say? Are there any that you would aspire to work with, or other types of period films that you'd love to do?
Yeah, well, period films in general are
Mhm.
great to work
Yeah,
on.
you
I
really
think
enjoyed that?
I think that's the most fun, really. Well, for me,
Yeah.
you know.
Because it's more challenging too.
Right,
Yeah.
it is. Because when you're doing a modern film,
Yeah.
you're really kind of playing more like stylist
Exactly.
versus costume designer.
Right. Right.
and I'm a very conceptual designer, and so I mean I would love to work with people like Steven Spielberg and do movies like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So now, have you gotten to meet some other wardrobe designers?
We've also met a lot of theater designers
Oh, right.
because you know costume is also theater, it's also opera, it's also ballet
That's
and
right.
dance. So
Would you be? Is that other areas that you'd be open to doing? Being that you live in New
absolutely,
York, there's a lot of
absolutely.
theater and performance.
Yeah.
Oh, so really, this whole avenue has opened up a whole new world for you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to really pick one and stick with it because
Oh,
there's such huge differences
Right.
with designing for a film and designing for theater.
Right.
You know.
I'm sure with the visual and the visibility and the fabrics
Right,
and
right,
weight.
but there's plenty of designers that do both, and they do both very well.
Oh, really?
And,
oh, good.
And yeah,
So you have all kinds of opportunities available to you in the future.
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Felipe. I really
Yeah.
appreciate your time, and best of luck to you in your growing career. And I'm sure you'll do plenty of other films and great projects.
Great, thank you. Thanks a
so
lot.
much.